Fire brigade.
Yeah, hello, hi, in the fire, flat 16 Grenfell Tower. It's the fourth floor.
Okay.
Quick.
June 14th, 2017, London. On the fourth floor of Grenfell Tower, Bahailu Kebede wakes up to his smoke alarm just before 1 in the morning. He runs to the kitchen and sees flames near his fridge, spreading fast. Heart racing, he calls the fire department, not knowing this night will turn into one of the worst disasters England has ever seen, taking 72 lives. It's 1:07 in the morning. The first firefighters reach Kebede's flat and see a curtain of fire rising to the ceiling in the kitchen. Flames and hot gases are already escaping through the window, and that's the beginning of a raging, unstoppable nightmare. All over Grenfell, people wake up to sirens and shouting. When they open their doors, many of them are hit with thick, choking smoke. It's hard to breathe. Firefighters race through the hallways, knocking on doors, telling people to stay inside their flats. Some are moved to safer apartments, where neighbors huddle together, scared, confused, and waiting for rescue. Flames are spreading fast. Then, messages start coming in from outside. Calls, texts, photos. Friends and family watch in horror as the tower burns. Antonio Roncolado, who's lived in Grenfell for 27 years, is trapped inside his flat when he gets a photo from his son showing the building on fire. The only thought that comes to his mind is, I'm in big trouble. And just like him, many residents are starting to realize that escaping might be impossible. It's 1:58 in the morning. Many people have already made it out from the lower floors, but firefighters estimate that somewhere between 1 and 200 people are still inside. They're scared and trapped. Kids are crying. Neighbors can hear the noise and the screams as the fire rages out of control. Many fear the building might collapse at any moment. Those still in contact with England's emergency line, 999, are told to stay inside, but some ignore their instructions. In panic and desperation, they try to save themselves any way they can. Some people try to climb out the windows using bed sheets they've tied together. Others wrap wet towels around their heads and desperately run for the stairs. They're bumping into each other, stepping over the fallen. In their panic, many slip on the stairs, falling hard and getting hurt. The smoke is so thick it's hard to see. Their eyes burn, their throats sting, and the smell of burning plastic fills the air. People trapped on the higher floors flash lights from their windows, trying to get someone's attention. On the 22nd floor, Tony Disson is also trapped. He's told to stay put, but the situation is getting terrifying. Desperate, he calls his wife asking for help. She begs him to leave the flat, to try anything, but the last words she hears are, "This is it. This is it for me." It's 2:09 in the morning. 34 flats are completely on fire. The speed and spread of the flames create an unprecedented challenge. A few moments later, those in charge of the rescue change their advice. Instead of telling people to stay in their flats, they now tell everyone to get out, no matter what. Many panic and run as fast as they can. So firefighters have to stop their rescue plan to help the people now crowding the stairwell all at once. But that means those still trapped inside their flats, surrounded by flames, are far less likely to be rescued. Around this time, Rania Ibrahim, who lived in flat 203, sends a heartbreaking message to a friend saying, "Forgive me, everyone. Goodbye." Sadly, she's one of many who lost their lives after reaching out to their loved ones for the last time. By 4:30 in the morning, the entire building is on fire. More than 100 flats have been destroyed. From outside, people watch in horror as the flames take control of the tower. Rescue efforts go on for hours. At 8:07 a.m., the last survivor is rescued. Elpidio Bonifacio, a partially sighted retiree. He'd been trapped in his flat on the 11th floor and later said he had lost all hope. before firefighters finally found him and helped him down the staircase. His rescue was one of many acts of courage that night, as firefighters worked tirelessly to save everyone they could. In the end, 151 homes were destroyed in the tower and the surrounding area. Sadly, 72 lives were lost, and for those who survived, life was never the same. Many lost family members and friends inside. They also lost their homes, their memories, and everything they owned in that tragedy. Behelu Kebede, the man who lived in the flat where it all began, never recovered. He said his heart is full of desolation, but Kebede can't be blamed for what happened. The fire was accidental, and according to the public inquiry, he did everything right from start to finish. He called 999, warned his flatmates and neighbors on the 4th floor as soon as he saw smoke, and while the tower was burning that night, he desperately tried to help his neighbors and friends. But for a while, some news reports claimed that his fridge catching fire was what caused everything, although that was never proven. I mean, yes, the fire started in his kitchen, but it should have stayed there. It only spread and turned catastrophic because of something far more serious. Remember the whole "stay put" instruction, right? This is actually a normal fire safety policy, but telling people to stay in their homes only works if you can trust that the building's design will stop the flames from spreading. The problem was, it didn't. Several structural and design flaws made the fire spread faster than anyone could imagine. The biggest issue was the exterior cladding added during the 2016 refurbishment, which, by the way, residents complained about a lot. They couldn't stand the constant noise, the dust, and the builders always taking over the lifts. When the work was finally done, the outside of the tower looked luxurious, but there was a problem. They'd turned a plain, safe council block into a fancy-looking building that was actually a dangerous trap. It looked great from the outside, but it wasn't safe at all. The thing is, Grenfell Tower had been covered with aluminum composite panels. Inside them was a polyethylene core, basically a highly flammable plastic that releases an enormous amount of heat when it burns, so it acted like fuel for the fire. They also installed thermal insulation beneath the cladding. It was made of polyurethane foam, another combustible material that helped the fire spread. Some experts pointed out that the ACM cladding, I mean those aluminum panels with a polyethylene core, had already been flagged in earlier fire tests as extremely dangerous. It burned fast, produced intense heat, and released heavy smoke. But nothing was done to change that. So normally we have 6 layers of fire protection: prevention, detection, evacuation, suppression, compartmentation, and the resistance of the structure to the fire. But at Grenfell Tower, 5 of those 6 layers failed. Since that tragic day, survivors and families have continued to fight for truth, justice, and change. The Grenfell Tower inquiry, created to uncover what really happened, was divided into 2 phases, and its final report, released on September 4, 2024, blamed the authorities and the construction industry, and especially the companies that installed the flammable cladding on the building's exterior. It concluded that this cladding failed to meet fire safety standards and was the main reason the fire spread so quickly. It also criticized the fire brigade for taking too long to move from the "stay put" advice to a full evacuation plan, a delay that cost valuable time and lives. The Grenfell fire changed the country forever. The final report made 58 recommendations, including major updates to building safety regulations. In the years that followed, the tragedy sparked nationwide safety reviews, new laws, and stricter rules on building materials and fire protection, all aimed at making sure a tragedy like Grenfell never happens again.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.